You didn't hear anything, welcome to the show. We're gonna start right now by telling you what happened there. So a tragic event happened in the West Bank, in the area between an Israeli settlement to a Palestinian village. We're gonna show you soon enough where it happened in the map, where there was a school trip of Israeli kids who were walking for a trip for unknown reason nearby Palestinian village. And then Palestinian men came and they were starting an altercation there. And during this altercation, 2 IDF soldiers were shot dead by a Palestinian sheikh, which is a Palestinian rabbi, if you want to call it, sheikh or priest. That's a religious leader who went and grabbed the weapons, kidnapped the weapon of one of the soldiers, shot both of them, and then killed by the IDF. Now, I want to start with sharing my condolences with the family. It's a tragic scenario here, but a lot of things got out of control there. It got really messy, really fast, and we're going to talk tactics, we're going to talk politics, we're going to talk, strategically what might have happened there to the best of our knowledge. My name is Mansour Ashkar. If you don't know me, I'm a former Israeli elite special forces officer who was in a hostage rescue unit, and I've served for a very long time in these locations there. And we're going to try to give you a better understanding of what's happening now. I can already identify one of the main problems that happened here, and I'm going to show you step by step. So watch this. The kids are filming right now the incident, and some of them are actually cheering, yeah, he's beating up Arabs and etc., which is a bit bizarre. We're going to talk about this right now. Like I said, this is a very complicated situation, and we're going to try to be neutral as we explain what happened there. So look what happened. The guy in the black, that is the IDF officer who was on vacation. And now that's the mistake that cost him his life. If you watch here right now, he is removing the weapon strap from him. Maybe because he wanted to go Krav Maga. I don't know what he's doing that. There's a reason why the weapon is usually strapped on you, so it can't be, stolen from you. Or when you're climbing a roof or a wall, it's kind of hanging on you. So he removes that strap, and that's a very, very bizarre thing. And it actually led to his death, and you're going to see in a second. So there were shots fired. Maybe someone was trying, to scare everyone, because you can see there was a big gathering of a lot of Palestinians coming there to confront the children who are hiking close to their village. We're going to show you soon where the village is so you get like a better understanding. Look, that's kids. That's just little kids. Now look, he's going and he's aiming the weapon at a Palestinian man. He pushed him. And now they're saying he's trying to kidnap his weapon. You can see he's all of a sudden grabbing the strap and trying to take the weapon from his hand. There's 2 guys there, 2 IDF soldiers, I think. And he's working on taking the weapon from him. Now, why would he remove the weapon? That's the main issue. Why would you remove the strap? And my explanation, and again, I don't want to disrespect anyone here, but this guy was not in the special forces. He is from the artillery unit, which are not as trained in infantry as other units. Their guns are much bigger, so the small gun is not the main weapon they have. And often I've seen IDF soldiers do that, and it's quite silly, I have to say, but it looks cool, where they will take the strap and they make it very tight so the weapon is standing on them, but it's not very convenient to shoot or to even do Krav Maga with it. Now you can see when you have the special forces, usually they have sometimes the clips where they're holding the weapon just dangling from here, or the strap, and that is this strap, guys. So you can see the strap here, right? This strap needs to be long enough, even longer than here, so you can actually have arms way so you can fight with it and everything, and can be around you. Now, with the vest and everything, you put it on the neck a little bit, we'll give it some slack. So maybe that's the reason that he was removing it from him, because it was just too tight on him. Or maybe for the hike, he was putting it tight so he can walk more comfortably and it's not dangling. I understand where it comes from a comfortable point of view. A lot of my soldiers sometimes wanted to do that, but I didn't let them do that for that exact reason. Now, watch here. So he's going there and he starts confronting this young Palestinian man. And now they're shouting. He's stealing his weapon. He's taking his weapon. Yeah, if he had a vest, he might have been alive. But I think he was off duty and he just joined there with his weapon. Now look what happened now. So the Palestinian sheikh stole the weapon from him. shot him, shot his friend, and then got shot by the IDF soldier that was on duty, that failed to protect him before that happened, failed to shoot him when he kidnapped the weapon. A very easy rule when it comes to combat operations, especially when you are in Palestinian territory. If someone tries to grab your weapon, game on. You kill him. If someone puts his hand on your weapon and he tries to steal it, he becomes an immediate threat. Because we have a saying in the IDF, you don't shoot anyone unless there's two criteria that happen. He needs to have imtsa'i v'matara, v'kavana, which means he needs to have the item and the intent. The item would be a weapon, intent would be to use it. So if someone is fighting with you and he goes to grab your weapon, he already showed that he has the intent to fight you, which can easily lead to killing you. And now he has the item, the object. So with that rules, that immediately means engage. The IDF needs to immediately drop to the, eliminate all the rules of engagement and go to engage. Eliminate the target or eliminate the threat. Doesn't have to be kill him, but stop him from being able to kill you. All right, I want to show you the next video, guys, which gives you a little bit of a better, not this one. Look here. So here you can see. So that's the first where they're fighting over the weapon. You can see them right here. The sheikh is grabbing his weapon and now they're fighting over it. And if the weapon was strapped on him, like I said, it would have not happened. He would have not been able to take it from him and to turn it around with the strap now and use. You can't. It's just very, very, very difficult. But he made it very easy because he took it off. And we all saw it in the beginning of the video. He just removed the strap, probably, like I said, because it was too tight on him. And that was already a mistake. Some soldiers have the strap that have a clip. So when you open the clips, it still opens, but it still stays on you. So it's not tight, but it's still kind of strapped to you. Here, he just removed it all and made it easier for them to steal it. Now look, we have here the guy in the gray fighting with the guy in the black. He takes the weapon. We have two guys here trying to steal. And this IDF soldier is standing here, who could have probably stopped the incident. I don't want to judge him too much. It's a very difficult situation to be. There's a lot of moving objects and moving people there, friendly fire and etc. And here, as they're fighting, he shoots one guy. He's on the ground now. It's very hard image to watch, like I said. And he executes two Israeli soldiers, off duty on the spot, and then he gets killed by the IDF. Now, we already know that there's Palestinians calling him, a martyr, a shaheed, and etc. This is murder. This is murder. Don't let anyone fool you. And this is murder in front of children. Now, why were the children there? Let's go on the map right now and just look for a second at the map so you can see where we're talking about. So this is, planet Earth where we live. And the area that we're talking about happened. So here is the settlement that they came from. Chavad Gilad. Some of you might have been there. Some of you might have visited there. So Chavad Gilad is where these kids came from. And then they decided to go from Chavad Gilad and cross the area where you shouldn't cross into what's called the Palestinian territory, into the area of Tel. That's the village, the Palestinian village where that kind of happened. So it happened somewhere, I'm just guessing. If I had to guess, they probably walked from here. If I had to guess, they probably walked from here and then went down through this area here for a hike. I've been many times in these places. There's a lot of beautiful hikes there, but unfortunately, it's just not safe for Israelis to go there. That's exactly the reason, because Palestinians can come and then, altercation can happen. People can get murdered. And there is also a lot of Jewish historical heritage, religious places there. So maybe the kids were going there somewhere in that area. So it probably happened somewhere around these farmlands, I'm guessing, because you can see in the image, if you look, you can see there's a village above them, there's the houses. So it very much looks like it happened, like I said, somewhere in these areas. So to give you a bit orientation, over here is Haifa, over here is Tel Aviv. So that's Haifa, Tel Aviv. That's where the settlement is, and that's where the Arab village right next to the settlement is. Tel. Now, what happened there? Why were they there? Were there any provocation that happened from the Israelis toward the Palestinians before? Was it a show of force? They're just walking with their kids, showing them we own this land, and then the Arabs, Shababs, went down to confront them. Undoubtedly, this was not approved by the IDF. I mean, I would not think that the IDF will approve a field trip of children from a settlement to go and cross into the West Bank to hike with kids. Why did it happen? Why were there soldiers there? From what we understood, the soldiers came. That again, there's so many things unknown right now. So we're just kind of go and talk a little bit about what I think might have happened. Again, it might be wrong what I'm saying here because we're going to get more details. It's very hard. I've been looking in different numerous reports right now trying to figure out exactly what happened. But my guess is that the kids went with a trip, and then these guys who are on vacation from the army, the guys that got killed, they came not on uniform with them to join them for the hike and to protect them. Probably motivated by an ideology that this is our land and we need to go and walk and hike this land. We shouldn't be afraid because Palestinians want to murder us. And then the IDF got called because there was, an illegal kind of entry into the Palestinian territory. So they went in, and when they got there, I'm assuming that they didn't really understand what's happening. Now, you need to understand, if people are asking why didn't the IDF kill this guy before, you don't go and start shooting people just because they came to confront young kids who walked into the Palestinian territory, who walked into the area where they're living. You can argue it's all Israeli territory, it's theirs, it's ours. That's irrelevant right now. Israel have clear borders, like we showed here, and they went kind of inside there and decided to kind of take matters to their own hand and go into this area. So the IDF might have been called there, and when they come, they all of a sudden they see this altercation with a lot of people shouting at each other. This is normal sighting in these regions. They all the time gather around the farms, the fields, olive trees, checkpoints, settlements, villages, and they just shout at each other. They do that quite often, provoking one another. So the IDF did not know immediately that they're coming into terrorist attack scene, or that maybe these people are intending to try to kidnap a weapon and shoot and kill, and thank God he was eliminated, because he could have been later on, if there wasn't the IDF there, after eliminating these two Israelis, off-duty soldiers, he could have went just and slaughtered all the kids. So thank God that the IDF was there to eliminate him. I wish they would have done it before he would have killed these Israelis. But yes, so Shai is saying they did provocation. They took the order law to their own hands, which is what I think. They went there with provocation. You can hear that the kids are shouting, yeah, he's beating up an Arab, he's hitting him. So I think they literally went with the ill intentions just to provoke and to incite. And it's not that hard to provoke Palestinians. Let's be honest, it's not that hard to provoke radical Muslims. You just need to be in their face and they already want to become violent. So it was so unnecessary. From what I know, again, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe someone here knows a little bit more about this. But what happened is this, and I want to show you again the image, and let's talk a little bit about the tragic mistakes that could have literally... Can you hear me, guys? Here we go. So let's talk about this right now. What you were seeing here. Getting so confused with the OBS stuff. This is a terrible situation to be in. You don't want to find yourself surrounded by civilians from an enemy village, because they don't fall under the category right now of enemies, combatants that are, eligible to be, open fire at them. But they can in any second turn and becomes enemies that can literally endanger your life. So you're putting yourself in a very, very problematic situation right now by going inside them. This confrontation, going in their face inside them, is a terrible idea. Now, I don't know exactly the details. Maybe they were trying to come to the kids, but there's other ways. Shoot in the air, shoot in the ground. Don't let them come close. Someone come close, shoot in the legs. That's very clear. He didn't do that, so he ended up being surrounded by them, which immediately puts him in a very, very problematic situation. Now you see there's another guy, the guy in the white shirt, he's also there going in, and they're pushing one another. There's young shababs there, there's the sheikhs. I think the guy there maybe is trying to calm the situation down. Now, rest assured, guys, I want to be something clear about it. That sheikh knew what he was doing. He was intending to murder these IDF soldiers and maybe China GPS system, and maybe even kill the children. So some of them might have actually came with the intention, this is an opportunity, I can come close, grab a weapon, and I will just become a shaheed and I'll kill as many as I want. And I think that's probably what happened there. Because why would you try to grab a weapon from an IDF soldier and with other IDFs around and then shoot them? Grab the weapon, shoot in the air, throw it away, even that is very stupid. So undoubtedly, this have easily went down to a terrorist activity, but it doesn't mean that these settlers, these kids, and these soldiers there have done something smart. They've done something very, and again, my condolences, it's terrible what happened, but they've done something very stupid for what we see right now, which is crossing the border, going on that hike, and then going into physical face-off altercation with, like, I don't know, 15, 20 Palestinian men standing around them, and then also taking the weapon off from his neck, the harness, and leaving it in his hands, making it easy to be stolen from him. This is ABC of the training that the trainer usually as a combat soldier in the IDF, and that was, like I said, there might be many reasons that mitigated and brought him to do that, but if he would have came prepared, he would have not to do that. So if the harness was too close because it was hiking, the strap, or because it was not ready for Krav Maga, it doesn't matter. You should not take it or do it that way. So you see, they're surrounded by the IDF, and this sheikh right now is there. And then that soldier, I don't want to say soldier exactly because he's off duty right now, but he is a soldier, runs up. So apparently more kids were coming from up. They run up to push them away. And then he goes down aiming the weapon at this guy, and the guy comes to confront him. He tries already to take the weapon from his hand. And here you go. You see him holding the strap. Like I told you, that was the mistake that brought to his death and later on to the death of his friend. Because his weapon was taken from his hand and now it's in the hands of the enemy, and now he was able to kill both of them. So, you know what I'm saying? That was exactly what I said. A very, very complicated situation, very hard to understand exactly what happened. And now he shot both of them. And from the way he shot, that guy, this is not the first time that he held a weapon. So let's be honest, he's not an innocent sheikh. Very likely he's part of some kind of a terrorist cell. And in Islam in general, a lot of times these religious in the mosques, they're not really religious places of faith. They're more military terrorist recruitment, agencies. That was basically the definition of the mosques in the Arab world. That's why they have the calling, loud language. That was the whole Muslim religion it's more like a political military movement rather than religion. If you compare it to Christianity and Judaism, it's not the same. So your churches and your synagogues and your khilwes, if you're Druze, are very different than a Muslim mosque. A Muslim mosque and the Muslim spiritual leader, you just saw Mamdani right now meeting with, the imam in New York and, talking to them. And then in the preaching with the mayor of New York City, they're standing there and calling verses that are calling for murders to murder the Christians and the Jews and the infidels, basically anyone who's not Muslim. So it's not the same religion. It's a very combat, military-oriented religion. So the kids are shouting their revenge, revenge, revenge. As a father, it's just so irresponsible. Why would you have your kid go on a school trip into a Palestinian village? Why? What does that give? In any scenario, please explain to me why. Yes, you can come and bring these ideological arguments, but they're not relevant because reality is different. Yes, you can come and say, in a perfect world, all the Jews should be able to walk in all of Israel. Fair enough. They should not fear someone to murder them. Same with Palestinians. In a perfect world, we should not have borders. They should come freely. We should go freely. But it's not the case. If we leave the borders down, they will come and slaughter us. And we can't go there because they will slaughter us when we go there. So now that's why you have the borders. That's literally why you have these scenarios. So whoever arranged the school trip possibly needs to go to jail. Again, I don't know enough details, so maybe here someone knows. Shai Gadol, maybe you know more than me. But someone need to be held responsible for that tragedy that costed the life of dear Israelis that could have been there, trying to protect, save lives. 100%. I mean, they risked themselves going forward. It doesn't mean that they did it right, but I'm sure their intention was to save lives. And then this guy in the white shirt and the guy in the black shirt. So he doesn't even know that his friend's weapon was kidnapped right now, was stolen from him. And this IDF soldier here is just not positioned in the right place. And I'll explain. Your position right now and that's the ABC that they teach you if you go to the special training for bodyguards and etc. Usually they teach you that positioning is one of the key elements of being able to respond properly. So he is standing there, tunnel vision right now into this conflict. If you ask me, he should have probably either went a little bit up so we have a better angle at everything what's happening, but it's easier to judge. I'll be honest, it's easier to judge from here than from what happened there. So he doesn't have a clear line of sight, it looks like, possibly, to the stealing of the weapon. And now this Israeli guy is fighting with this Palestinian guy where the sheikh holds the weapon and he goes around. You can see the way he's holding it. He knows how to hold a weapon. It's not the first time. He's already holding it pretty well. So he's been trained and he's probably part of a terrorist cell, a combatant there. And he's even very confident to shoot while his Palestinian friend is holding him down. What? There's two attempts there. There's two attempts of stealing a weapon from an Israeli soldier. Two attempts. The soldier next to him should have shot in the air immediately. Shot one shot. It makes everybody shake. You shoot a shot in the air. Pop, pop, pop. Everybody's shaking. You shoot on the ground next to them. They're shot. You go in, Krav Maga into the face, and you can finish the situation very fast. And if someone's trying to make a move, you close the distance or you improve your location and you take him down. Aim at the legs, aim at the arms. If needed, even aim at the head if you think they have a suicide vest or etc. Terrible. Should have not happened. Shoot for the leg or the arm to neutralize them. Exactly. Ruben and Tavares is saying the same thing that I said here. So this soldier here at this moment should have definitely engaged and opened fire. I tell you what, there is right now 1, 2, 3, 4 Palestinian targets that have basically forfeited their life. If you're a soldier there and you see this, there's no question. They 2 Palestinians on each Israeli. There's 2 on 2. There's 4 on 2. They put them down. They start fighting with them, take their weapons, and that soldier is just standing there and probably kind of bewhelmed of the situation and doesn't know what happened, and he just doesn't go and open fire. Because look, guys, look how many Palestinians are actually fighting with these Israeli soldiers. So we got 1, 2, possibly 3 behind, 2 more maybe about to run towards them. So Now you have these two Palestinians jumping on the guy with the gray shirt. See? One is trying to steal a weapon, one is right behind him. That's already an assault on an IDF soldier and an attempted murder or attempted stealing the weapon. That's already forfeited their life right there. But the soldier doesn't know exactly what to do. He hesitates. Meanwhile, on the other side, that other IDF soldier has been attacked by two Palestinians as well, and one took his weapon, moved back, the sheikh, and the other one with the white shirt and the blue pants that is on top of him right now is pinning him down, and later on he holds him while the other one shoots at him. See? So if there was a properly trained IDF soldier there, it would have been right now, pa, 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 legs, 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 down. Situation is done, shot in the air. If you go in a physical confrontation with a police officer, heck, in America, if you even don't put your hands on the wheel when a police officer comes to you, they can shoot you because they don't know if you're going to reach for a gun. These things happen very fast. Someone reaches for a gun, shoots out of the window, and then goes and just shoots at other officers. So you just don't take the risk. And I think there was just lack of proper training, and it's just a terrible situation to be in. Ah, he pulled a gun here. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. That's interesting. You guys see that? So this IDF officer, he's pulling a gun right now, a pistol, which could have led for the escalation of the situation. Now again, maybe that guy, that sheikh, meant to kill him, but maybe in that moment he just was in the situation where he was hoping to make them, like, stop it. But now the guy is pulling a pistol on him. And like I said, I'm not taking sides here. I'm just trying to give you the most accurate understanding of what's happening, and I might be wrong. But look what happened here. The guy on the ground seems like he reached to his hip. Yep, he pulled a pistol and he's trying to load it. And that's when he gets shot. That's when he gets shot. Did you see that, guys? UV, did you see that? That's when he got shot. And he tries again. He takes the pistol up again. This guy next to him maybe is trying to take the pistol away from his hand. Wow. See, both of them have pistols. He got a pistol on him right here. You see that, guys? You see the pistol I'm talking about? Or do you want me to mark it for you? Do you need me to mark it for you, guys? Tell me if you don't see it and I'll mark it for you. All right, we're going to show you here. I'm going to mark it for you so you can actually see it better. So look here. Over here, that's a pistol right here. Like I said, we're watching this together the first time, so I'm thinking as I'm seeing it from investigative perspective and from someone that actually been in these situations many times. Yeah, he got a pistol on him, a sidearm. The other one also got a sidearm on him. You can see it in a second. So the first shot that he shot was to the side. So this sheikh grabbed the one, shot to the side. So he could have shot them. That's a very important. We don't want to take sides here. He could have shot them, but he shot to the side. That was his first shot. Terrible mistake to take the weapons, but also if you put yourself in his shoes right now, and I don't want to, I'm going to get a lot of hate here, but I just don't want to give you wrong information. So if you're right now in his situation and these guys are coming pointing weapons at you and you do a mistake in the heat of the moment and you try to take the weapon out of his hand because you feel that this guy is just, triggered, which is a terrible mistake, but it could happen. And he goes and he shoots a shot to the side. Look at this again. Over here. Bum, right? You can see. Yep, you can see the smoke coming out of the gun, the gas. He shoots a shot to the side. Not very smart because he could have hit his friend there. but he shoots one shot maybe to try to defuse the situation. But again, it could be that he's trying to go and murder them. It's, you know, thanks, Chris. Could be that he's trying to go and murder them. Could be not. But I wanna try to be as fair as possible here with the situation. And now the Israeli guy pulls in the gun and he shoot him once. I don't know if he hits him. And that guy right here seems like he's trying to actually take the weapon from him, maybe hoping to either save his friend or maybe defuse the situation. But oh yeah. And the question is then, why did he shoot the other guy? This guy. That's a question. Maybe he turned at him as well. Oof. Complicated, right? Complicated. Like I said from the beginning, this is just a messy, terrible situation that the best way would have been to literally avoid being in that situation. Let's watch it for a second from the other angle. Maybe we can get a better angle to what happened there. Let's make it bigger. So like I said, you see they have both sidearms and they have weapons. You know, main weapon and sidearm. There's at least 1, 2 IDF soldiers there. And they seem to try to do some kind of a crowd control. From the equipment, they look like reservists, to be honest. Now he's walking. Oh, that's another settler with a weapon there. So there's 3 settlers with a weapon. So maybe he also shot. Or, you know, IDF soldiers. Well, I think they're all settlers there. So now he's walking towards them. He kicks him. Why did he try to take the weapon from his hand? Yeah, clearly trying to steal his weapon, which immediately will put you in a very dangerous place. So that was already a mistake. Now, it wasn't the sheikh who tried to steal the weapon. It was the other guy in the beginning. So it looks like actually the sheikh there was trying to, at least in the beginning, you know, like, stop it. Very hard. Tell you why. I don't want to be the devil advocate here, but if, let's say, I was a Palestinian right now, and my brother hot-headed, and he goes and he starts confronting IDF soldiers, not smart. Terrible idea. And then he tries to take one of the weapons. And now I see that this IDF soldiers just said, okay, I'm going to kill him. Try to steal my weapon, I'm going to shoot him. And that's your brother. So you might actually try to step and intervene. So it looks like this guy is already being shot here from this angle. It's a bit hard to understand exactly what happened there. No, he shoots him here now. He shoots him here. Very difficult. Very difficult. I would have kept the space, yes. I know I'm not Team Sheikh. I'm not Team Sheikh as well, guys. I'm not Team Sheikh. I'm Team Israel here, but also That's the difference between us and them. We know how to have critical thinking, and we know how to look at this. Was a not thought out school activity. You don't say. You don't say, Neo. Most soldiers would have down right away. You going to market, guys?
The senator.
So here, look, we'll mark it here. So first image here. Watch this. That is here. The pistol. You see it, right? That's the sidearm that he had. And then these two guys are fighting. This guy also has a sidearm. It's quite common practice there to have a weapon and a pistol. Now that's the thing that is confusing. The first shot here, he's shooting there to the side. Now I don't know. Don't have a clear sight. Maybe he's shooting another person. Maybe he's shooting a warning shot. We'll tell you right now who the IDF soldiers were, Jenneth. We'll talk about that in a second. And now you'll see the guy in the bottom, this guy here. I want you to see the next spot. He is not aiming at him yet. He's actually running. Maybe he's actually running to shoot the other IDF soldier, and this guy is trying to stop it. And then he sees him pulling a pistol. Look. So here he's holding an IDF pistol. We'll show you right now. This one right here is a pistol. So he's grabbing a pistol and taking the other hand is about to go and reload the pistol in hope to be able to shoot at him. And that's when this Palestinian sheikh turns back to him. I don't know what were the intention of that sheikh in running with the weapon. Was he trying to run and shoot the other IDF soldiers? Was he not? Was he trying to defuse the situation to save his, friend or his relative? Was he actually trying to murder the Israelis? It's very hard to know the intention, and we need to be also very fair when we try to report this. And that's when he shoots him. See, again, he's trying to shoot here. Here. If you look at this image here, you'll see that he's actually trying to shoot again, but this time is on self-defense for sure. This time is already, the guy is aiming at him, and he starts to shoot, and then he gets shot. This guy here, what is his role in this? Trying to subdue him, trying to take the weapon out of his hand. Thanks, Emil. Thanks, Emil the Cricket. If anything, the sheikh was trained 100%. This sheikh is not a normal sheikh. He's been trained either, by the PLO police or by terrorist organization. And then they go and they do what they did. What a plunder. What a plunder situation. Everybody just got sucked into the fight with a weapon, getting sucked into the midst of civilians from a hostile country, territory. Just a terrible idea. I'll give you another example why is this a terrible idea, because I'll show you right now. Watch this, guys. Watch this. So we see this image, right? Now I want you to look for a second. Look what we see here. There is a weapon here. There is another weapon on this guy on the other side. So let's just point this one as if it's the one. You have another gun here. You have another gun here. This one here can literally right now just snatch the pistol and take them both. This one here can run as well, snatch the pistol. This one here can run as well, snatch the pistol. So we got one potential, second, third, fourth here fighting, fifth here fighting. This guy is fighting with someone else, so sixth here. They look like settlers, I think. So you have just so many potential people that could have really escalated the situation. And these two ended up placing themselves in a very bad place to be. Now, again, I want to say this again. It's easy to judge when you're sitting where I'm sitting right now. I've been many times in situations, and sometimes I did mistakes, sometimes I did good. And I know that it would have been probably very easy for a lot of people to judge from outside. You're in the midst of it. There's a whole Palestinian crowd coming from the village. You have children right now with you that you want to protect. And these children seem a bit delusional right now. Nekama, revenge, and like, been fed up with like, very kind of violent terminology. So it clearly was a provocation. You don't go with a kid's school children hike with like armed bodyguards into a Palestinian village to hike around it without thinking that there is a high likelihood that you're going to get provocation happening, people coming around and things getting out of control. And that's exactly what happened. It's exactly what happened. The problem is that our soldiers are deterred from firing because of the law for it. No, absolutely not, Enoch. I strongly disagree with what you said. As an officer in the IDF, someone who was in Special Forces, strongly disagree with what you just said. You see, thank God that the IDF have rules of engagement. You don't just shoot. They have to. You statistically right now, you're giving hundreds of thousands of young people weapons, machine guns, automatic weapons. If you don't have strict rules of engagement, do you know how many incidents you will have where just innocent Palestinians, and I say there is innocent Palestinians, will be just shot because someone, couldn't handle the heat in that moment? Not every soldier is a trained Fauda unit, is a trained Duvdevan, is a trained Shahid Shlosa Matkal Delta Force in Navy SEALs. Not everyone. You need to have very clear, if you watch Black Hawk Down, you see the Special Forces coming and saying, this is my safety when he's with his finger. Not everybody can actually go and pull that off and say, this is my safety. Yes, when you're highly trained, you know very well how to move from 0 to 100 immediately. But you need to have these rules of engagement that you have to play with. This is tactical. So a lot of people come and say, yeah, the left is... Guys, stop with this narrative. It have nothing to do with the left or the right. These rules were written by not the left or right. It was written by professional people in the IDF that created very clear rules of engagement. They have walked inside a catastrophic, chaotic Fauda situation. Fauda, the meaning of the word Fauda in Arabic is chaos. When you shout Fauda, it means uprising and chaos altogether. So they just went into a Fauda situation. And now inside this Fauda situation, they're walking there and there is a pistol on him that can be easily stolen from him. There's a pistol on the other guy. They're with the weapons, hand-to-hand combat. He took the strap out of his neck, so the weapon was easily taken from his hands. The problem here is not laws of engagement. Elior Ezra was not a very strong deterrent. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I'm telling you as an officer, absolutely not. He went and he shot an unarmed, diffused terrorist on the ground. Absolutely not. They're not afraid of Elior Ezra. I can tell you 100%. He's not the one that scares them. It was so wrong what he did, because think about it. Because he even came and said, this guy killed my friend, I want to kill him. Emotionally, I understand him. But emotions are not what dictates how we operate. a live wounded terrorist worth way more for the intelligence for the IDF than a dead one. Way more. So he is neutralized. The weapon is away from his hand right now. He's on the ground. He's bleeding. He's probably going to die. Maybe not. If you manage to bring him alive, the Shabak can go after his life has been stabilized by the Israeli doctors and interrogate him. Interrogate him, you get several outcomes. One, you can actually get to know who sent him, who trained him, who gave him the weapon, etc. Third, you might even end up hiring him. How do you think we got the Green Prince? Hassan Masad Yusuf was captured by the IDF, was in the Israeli prison, and ended up being recruited and was probably the strongest asset we had. So Elior Azria did not deter. They're not afraid of this soldier. They're actually afraid of Magav. They're afraid of soldiers that will go and beat the crap out of them when they're fighting them, not when the ones will come when he's already neutralized, the fighting's over, just come and decides to shoot him. That's not the real deterrence here. So that's why, again, I disagree about that. He shot a terrorist that was unarmed and that was neutralized and that was on the ground. He went to jail because he broke the rules of engagement that was placed there by the IDF, approved by the government, and approved by the Supreme Court and the Prime Minister and everybody. These were the rules approved. So he went and he broke the rules. And the difference between us and them, that we actually abide by the rules and the laws. If the law said any terrorist should be killed, then he would have done right. He just went and killed him. But the law said you don't kill a neutralized terrorist on the ground. You just don't kill him. You leave it for the Shabak, for the officers, you leave for the system. So from an emotional perspective, moral perspective, I said, heck yeah. Go kill them all. All these terrorists should go to hell. All of them. But from a professional soldier right now, officer, and someone who was part of the system, and he knows how the system operates, and he knows also which rules you have in the system to prevent us from falling down into a catastrophe in a state of chaos, Elior Azria broke these rules, and that is why he went and faced the judgment and the punishment. We fight with one hand tied behind our back, Enoch, yes, but it's not for the moral high ground just to feel better about ourselves. It's not that. It's because you actually don't want to become like them. And that's why it's different. Israel is not a professional army. It is a conscripted army. Okay, let me explain this. Israel, yes, is not a professional army like other armies where you go for a career. You have professional divisions in the army that goes, but Israel's army is still more trained than probably any professional army in the world, even though it's a conscripted army. Now, with that said, just because they have a lot of experience, and also they have a lot of, the best of the society goes to the army. With that, yes, a soldier who's been right now 7 months, 10 months, 12 months, 14 months in the army is probably not going to be as trained as a soldier who's been in the military for 10 years. Maybe, in an arena fight, one-on-one, put him behind this tree, a few broken cars in between, unleash them to go, maybe he'll win because you have better killer instincts and you have better kind of stamina and reflexes. So yes, maybe. But in the big long run of learning how to operate different systems of weapons, to work with different radios, as a professional soldier, it's not only about how to shoot the trigger. Then yes, a professional soldier will just know much more about warfare and have been deployed to different operations than the average, 19 years old IDF soldier who's just there right now for 7-8 months. Purity of arms is not what's getting our soldiers dead. I don't agree. I am 100% supporting the purity of arms. 100%. What got our soldiers killed here is not the purity of arms. I mean, you can say it sounds cool, but look at what happened here. The soldiers there got killed because they brought themselves into a very dire situation where they're right now doing Krav Maga with a weapon that is not strapped on him, surrounded by so many Palestinians. I just made look at what a bad situation to be in. 2 IDF soldiers fighting right now over their weapons, surrounded by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, possibly even 8 Palestinians, males, military-age Palestinians, that every one of them could be a terrorist, and they have sidearms that are right now exposed. So this guy could have picked up the sidearm, shoot him. This guy could have went picked it up. This guy could have went picked it up. This guy could have went picked it up. This guy could have picked, like, what got them killed is not the purity of arms. It's just wrong placements of military basic tactics and strategy of just placing themselves in the wrong place, the wrong time, in the wrong way. That's what got them killed. Of course, what got them killed is this, Ben Blial, son of a goat, that chose to shoot them. But also, I showed you in the video here that we don't know exactly what happened, because I'm going to show it again if you haven't seen it, guys. If you join the show right now and you haven't seen it, watch this for a second. Terrible situation. So even the IDF is a bit confused there. This guy managed to take the weapon from the soldiers right now fighting, and he shoots in the air. First time. He shot in the air. And then he's running towards someone, and he turns to see this guy rising up. And he pulls a pistol, and that's when he shoots him. So you can come and apply the self-defense argument on the other side. 100%, Anna, we know that Palestinians support the killing of IDF and Israelis. That's we're all here on the same page. We know that. But in this particular situation, we just can see
the senator from Montana.
We can see that things got out of control very badly. Because this IDF soldier here seems to be very confused of the situation. So maybe he even doesn't understand what's happening. And then this guy shoots in the air right here. And then he goes running. So right now he's running towards there. And then he turns around, and this guy's pulling a pistol. As you can see, he's pulling a pistol. And that's when he gets shot. So you can easily give the argument that this guy was operating from his perspective out of self-defense. Again, does not justify the killing, 100%. This was handled poorly from every side, but I think it's important also to try to understand really what happened. Now, what I don't understand is this IDF. Look at this IDF soldier here. I want you to look at this guy here. You saw that? He was actually watching this. What a poor performance from his side. Crazy situation, guys. Crazy situation. We're probably going to hear... I said I'm going to show you an article that actually shows you what happened there. The article is here. So, here's what we know. Yuval, I'll put it in English. This is from the Israeli Ynet. So Yuval returned home, was taken to Samaria and killed. He was supposed to get married next year. Major Yuval Ezra was already at home, and his mother prepared his favorite dish for him, kubbe. But he was called back due to tensions in Judea and Samaria, arrived to deal with clashes between Palestinians and Israelis, and was shot dead by terrorists. We have been receiving hundreds of messages. That's what the family is saying. Investigation is still underway, so we don't exactly know what happened. So that's the guy. Unfortunately, a tragic death. May he rest in peace. Okay, we heard the Kuba story. Yuval lived in Herzliya with his fiancée, Timur Levi. He recently proposed to her. Wedding date for next year, June 9th. 9 years ago, the late Ezra enlisted in the artillery corps. After basic training, he went. Actually, I might have a friend that was with him in the unit, so maybe I can ask that friend a little bit of details, and the next episode I can try to give you guys a little bit better understanding of what happened there, because he'll probably know better. That's the video that we saw right now, only blurred. The parents said, "We're not concerned with what happened. It will not bring Yuval back." That's the language of a grieving parents. You know, they just right now they lost their kids. It's not about what happened, who's blamed. They just want their kid back. Hikers from David and Achikam hikers group entered the area of village of Tel Shali near Nablus without coordinating with the IDF, which led to a confrontation with Palestinians, at the highest of which one of them grabbed a weapon and fired. Major Ezra, who headed the small force that the late arrived to separate the Hawks, was killed as a result of the shooting. That's probably not the Hawks, it's just translation. A member of the Chavat Gilad readiness squad was holding a Binyahu metal weapon. Okay, he was also shot and killed after arriving at the scene following the reports the hikers about the confrontation with the Palestinians. What is that? That's from the funeral. That's the other guy who got killed. That's exactly how you wanted it. He was just like you, 32 years old, said his wife, Esther, who read the message from the two daughters. Okay, what was the message? Buried next to Abi Raziel. Okay. That's exactly how you would have wanted it. He was just like you. We will find the strength to cope, his mother said. This is not the first time he was shot. He was suckled by the wars of God from a young age. Translation here might not always be accurate. Yeah, we saw that. So yeah, guys, very, very difficult situation to be in. Just wanted to come and give you a little bit of a brief kind of how does it look like from what I can fathom from watching it. There's not enough details yet about this all over the news. There haven't been like proper details that will explain, at least not that I found. So we're still kind of looking to hear more about it. Hmm. Okay, that's another article about this. Israeli IDF terrorists attacked a soldier on vacation in the southern Hebron mountain and stole his weapon, which was found nearby. This tension in Judea and Samaria, the soldier was moderately injured. Okay, stone ahead. The IDF reported that the violent conflict between the Israeli and Palestinian civilians broke out in Susia area. Ah, that's another place. Okay, that's another incident. You should not just be embedded among civilians there. That's just a very, very problematic situation to be in. Thank you, human being. Uh, my prayers again with all the families and the friends and the relatives of the victims of this incident here, and that a proper investigation will be held to figure out was there why was there a school trip into freaking Palestine? There's literally no reason in the world to be there, guys. If you haven't seen the map when I showed it, I'll show you again. This is where it happened. That's Chavad Gil'ad. That's where they came from, allegedly. And then they went and decided to walk and cross to the Palestinian territory in the West Bank there. And I know they claim that it's not the Palestinians, it's theirs, and they claim it's theirs, but it's irrelevant. It's just a hostile territory, and they walked in, and it happened probably somewhere in these areas here, maybe even here, could be even in this location here, you know? Could have happened also in these locations here. I'm not so sure exactly where it happened, but that's the village that the attackers came from. And that led to this very, very unfortunate event. Enoch, it's okay to say it's Israel, and I agree with you, it is Israel, but long story short, there is Palestinians there and there's terrorists there. Why would you take a school trip? Think about that. Like that's the dumbest thing you can do. Someone read that the hikers went off track without IDF liaison on the clips. Yeah, it seems like the IDF was called to respond and they just came to the area, and among them came these two guys that were off duty and just came with their civilian clothes. Because if you're sitting home now and you hear that a bunch of kids from your town got strangled in a Palestinian territory and surrounded by Palestinians right now, which might kidnap them, you're going to run there. You're going to run there. You're going to run there. And that's what he did. He left his family. He left his mom and his dad that prepared his favorite food, the kubbe, and he ran there. And he got there and found this tension between Palestinians and Israeli kids, you know, settlers, and they were shouting at each other and I don't know what. And he just went in straight into it. And that was the mistake. The mistake was in the beginning that the trip went there. Second of all, that he went in without strapping his weapon to him and with a sidearm and with not enough backup. Two guys running into the middle of tens of Palestinians. Very unprofessional. Very unprofessional. What a tragic situation. And I'm saying very unprofessional because we lost. We lost two soldiers here. Two precious soldiers, sons of Israel, were lost in the situation. Yeah. Yeah. Lost for nothing. Lost for nothing. Unnecessary, tragic situation. Oy, 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 oy. Shalom, Long Bill. Shalom. If you guys have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them now. I see there's a heated discussion here in the comments. And, if you have any questions, things you want to share, everybody knows that user, that the word Palestine have nothing to do with Palestinians. Like, everybody knows that. Even the Palestinians know that. Who reported this? AJ? What is AJ? Reported and claiming that the settlers and the IDF started shooting at Palestinians. No, it was not started shooting. Yes, there was an altercation there. When we saw the video, at least, they were pointing gun at them. They were, physical altercation, but they did not start shooting them. They didn't go and just shoot them randomly. I think if the Palestinians there would have moved back and said, okay, move back, the situation would have immediately finished. But they just ran inside them, and then things got escalated. And then we showed you in the video that it was very hard to see. Was he shot because he pulled the gun and aimed at the sheikh? Was he shot because anyway he was planning on killing? That thing we don't know. That's the thing that we don't really know because we don't have the full picture. Alex Jones or Al Jazeera. No, probably Al Jazeera. What's the video title for this happening? All right. For those who came right now, I'm going to give a recap and we can finish with that, guys. So, in a tragic turn of event, 2 Israeli soldiers left their homes because they were, on vacation and ran inside of Palestinian West Bank territory to save a group of Israeli kids, hikers, school hikers, who were strangled in a Palestinian kind of West Bank territory, surrounded by angry Arabs that came at them. They went there. Now, the question is, why were the kids there? That's a good question. But they went there and they immediately started running into the fight with the Palestinians. And the soldier then did the mistake of removing the strap from his weapon. And later on in the altercation, the weapon was stolen from him and was used to kill him and his friend. If you haven't seen the video, we can show you right now at the first video. So you can see the guy in the black shirt, he just took his weapon off, and that was the first mistake. I'm going to show you this where I can mark it even, so it's easier for you to understand. All right. So first thing that happened is this. That was the first mistake that happened that probably costed him his life. See? This is what costed him his life, guys. Him taking the strap out and putting the weapon in his hand. Now the weapon can be stolen from him. And then he goes on, and the IDF is trying to calm people there. Someone shoots in the air, I think, so already triggers everyone. These kids shouting stupid stuff. And now he's saying he's trying to kidnap his weapon. So watch this image. You guys see this? Over here we can see the Palestinian man trying to kidnap the weapon from the IDF officer, and that's his friend. How professional are the Palestinian Authority security forces? Not remotely close to be as professional as Israelis, police even, or soldiers, but they know how to use their weapons. They know how to fight. In general, the average Palestinian knows how to fight because they fight all the time with one another in the street. They just beat each other up all the time. So they know how to use the weapon, they know how to use a gun, and they're definitely not something to be taken lightly if you're there by yourself. As a unit, as a functioning military unit, they're not very good. They're very, very low on the bottom chain, food chain of real fighters, but still they know how to pull the trigger and shoot and hold a weapon and reload and even operate probably a jam. And now here we know that there was a shot. Now this settler kid is shouting, "They wounded an Arab, they wounded an Arab," and he's super excited. And he's saying, "Revenge, revenge." He probably doesn't see that actually they shot an Israeli. But that just shows you also mentality. Like, why is the kid shouting there? "They wounded an Arab, they wounded an Arab, revenge, revenge." It's just not, it's just a bad situation to be in. Honestly, it's just a terrible situation to be in. And now I want to show you the next video, guys, where I can explain to you what happened here. So, as you can see here, the sheikh here, when I say a Muslim sheikh, it's basically equivalent to, a religious figure. Like you would refer, as in Judaism, they'll call someone like that a rabbi, or in Christianity, they'll call him a priest. The sheikh here is right now trying to steal the weapon. That's the sheikh, and that's the Israeli guy, and that's the weapon. He's trying to steal the weapon from him. Meanwhile, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, at least 5 or maybe even 6. That's right now. Palestinians around that Israeli guy that just went inside there as he shouldn't be inside them. Now watch this. Okay, here's a very interesting image as well, because what you see here now, here's the guy that is right now being having his weapon stolen. That's the sheikh again. That's his friend from the response team of the Itnachalud, of the settlement, also with this Palestinian guy trying to steal his weapon. So we have here 2 Palestinian men trying to take the weapon out of 2 Israeli, as far as they know, settlers. They don't wear uniform right now, so they don't look like soldiers. So as far as they know, they're settlers. And I want to be a devil advocate here and just say there's a lot of fear among the Palestinians from settlers. And the reason is because there's a lot of settlers violent also. They're going towards Palestinians, vice versa. And I'm not taking sides here. There's, everybody there is crazy. And let's be honest, if you look at the picture from a bird's eye perspective, I'm with the settlers. If I need to look at it from a bird's eye perspective, I'm with the settlers and not with the Palestinians, 100%. Because that situation would have not been the case if the Palestinians were not been trying to always murder the settlers, and the settlers can't just go and pray where they want to pray in these places. Literally, there's signs that prevents Israelis from entering these areas because Palestinians will kill them. So if they would have came in the beginning, bird's eye view, with intention of peace, we'll not have this violence between settlers and Palestinians. With that said, settlers there are taking a lot of times the law to their own hands and going there, and that creates this provocation that ends up in the terrible loss of life. That's all I had to say about that. So let's continue here watching, for those of you who just joined. Now here you can see there's an IDF soldier that is not really sure what to happen, how to respond. And that's also an interesting image. That's a very interesting image that shows you how dire the situation was. Look at this. I want you to see this because that's very important. Here we have 1 Palestinian man, 2nd Palestinian man, 3rd Palestinian man that is stealing the weapon, 4th Palestinian man, And these guys, we know there's behind them. And here we have the sheikh, which is number 5. So now we have 5 military age males. 2 people are jumping in here right now. 1 and 2 fighting to take the weapon from this Israeli guy. Here, the same thing. Here we have at least 2 people right now, or maybe even 3, actually 3. We have the Israeli guy on the ground here fighting with the Palestinians. We have this third Palestinian. We have the sheikh from here. So we have 3. How do I do redo? You have 3 versus 1 here. And you have 2 versus 1 here. That is how bad the situation. That is how bad the situation here. And guys, don't go with me with these little things like, oh, you say Palestinians is not such. We don't have time for this right now. If I will stop for every semantic, we know. Let's clear. There's no Palestinian states. It's a terrorist state. And now let's move on. When I say Palestinians, I just mean that these guys. I'm not gonna go into semantics all the time with every smartass right now trying to come and tell me how to talk. Let's continue for a second and stay on the topic. So what happened here is this. Oof. Very, very difficult image. And I want you to see that. So right now, the weapon here was stolen from him, and he's holding the weapon, but he's still fighting with this guy on the ground. And this guy here is running right now to help. So that's another image. Watch this. So right now we have the sheikh here stole the weapon. I don't know what is he holding in his hand. That's not so sure. Maybe just a fist. The Israeli guy here is fighting with the Palestinian guy on the floor. All right? This guy that was a second ago subduing him have left him, and now he's running to help fighting against other Israeli because this guy have just got the weapon. So that's also a very interesting image to take in consideration. Now you saw the sheikh here, he shot a shot in the air, which is a very interesting thing. Why was he doing that? To check if the weapon works, or maybe to shoot a warning shot? We're trying to understand every angle here. He just shot a shot towards there. We have one Israeli here, and we have another Israeli there. But he shot there. Why did he shoot there? What was the reason for that? To check the weapons, to maybe try to scare people. Could be that his intentions were evil from the beginning. Now look what happened here. That's also an important one. That's an important one. That's what makes the things very confusing. Check this out, guys. The Islamist sheikh here is running right now there. But his eyes all of a sudden are looking at this guy here. That's the Israeli guy that his weapon was stolen. That's his weapon now. And look what happened next. That's what complicates things. Up until now, no one was murdered. All right. Watch this. The Israeli guy here, all of a sudden, pulls out his secondary arm. His second pistol. Right here. So he pulls out a pistol, and he, all of a sudden, turns at him, and he's looking at him right now. Because he probably realized he's holding the weapon of an Israeli soldier that he stole from him. He is answering every category of someone that should be shot to kill right now. By any definition of rules of engagement, he should be killed right now. He took the weapon from an Israeli soldier. He shot the weapon in the air. He did not throw the weapon on the ground. And he's now running. It just takes a split of a second. If he turns around and starts shooting Israelis or the kids, he will murder a lot of people. So this Israeli officer here is basically grabbing the weapon. You can see with his other arm right here, he's about to reload it. in order to shoot him, take him down. He grabbed his secondary weapon, which is, a good instinct from a trained soldier, right? So let's continue. He gets shot, I think. I don't know if it hits him or not. He tries to shoot again. And now he gets shot and he gets killed. As I said before in the image, that is a very problematic image. When you can see here is why the situation is just completely out of control, guys. Completely out of control. We got two Israeli guys, one here and one here, okay? That's the two Israeli guys. They have sidearms. He also have a sidearm on the other side, but we're just going to mark this one here so you guys see. These sidearms can easily be stolen by Muslim man number 1, Muslim man number 2, Muslim man number 3, Muslim man number 4, Muslim man number 5. I think there's another one there, number 6, number 7, number 8. There's enough people right now that can steal their sidearms and make this into a catastrophe. And that's basically what happened. He got killed. Both of them got killed with his own weapon because it was not strapped to his body because he removed the strap and was taken by the enemies there. So that was, for those of you who just came right now, we're trying to figure out what exactly happened there. One thing we know for sure, it's a tragic event where two Israelis were killed by a Palestinian sheikh, which was later on neutralized and shot. Another thing we know is that the Israeli kids were on a school trip, apparently, into a hostile Palestinian village. Why were they there? Like, nobody can really explain right now. What the heck were they doing there? Third thing we know is the guy who was murdered and his friend were in the town, in the settlement on the Israeli side, and they got called because these kids end up wandering off the trail and coming closer to the village, and then a lot of Palestinian men came to them. So now you have a situation where these kids can easily be slaughtered, killed, butchered, kidnapped. So they run there in order to save them and de-escalate the situation. They didn't really go as they planned, but that was like the intention, I believe. And for those who didn't see the map, that's where it happened.
The senator from Montana.
This is where it all happened, guys. So the area is the village over here. We can even make an image for this to make it easier to understand, okay? Here. So the kids, from what I understand, came from this area. That's Chavad Gilad. That's where I understood, at least from the report, that's where the kids came from. And they went on a school trip for some reason, either to this area here or the outskirts here. Could have happened here, could have happened here. It did not happen in the middle of the village. It happened somewhere in this area, I'm believing, or in this area. That's where it probably happened. Palestinian men came from their village to confront them. And that's where the problems started happening. Again, this is estimated. So then when this was happening, the Israelis, who were IDF soldiers on a weekend, left their homes quickly running with his friend who is in charge of security of the town there, the Ravshatz, or one of the Kitat Konut, one of the response teams of the settlement. And then the whole skirmish started happening right here. That's where the skirmish happened and all the problems happened. So, long story short, what the heck were the kids doing here? Why were they going on a trip? This is not a place to go for a school trip. You want to go to Tel Aviv, you want to go to Jerusalem, you want to go to Eilat. You don't cross with a bunch of kids into a hostile, Muslim village in the Palestinian territory, in the West Bank. This could have been more catastrophic, Neil. Exactly. It's catastrophic as it is. But if that Muslim terrorist sheikh, if he would have grabbed the weapon and just started shooting, or if he would have managed to neutralize, let's say, all 4 IDF soldiers that were there, I counted 4, maybe there was more, then now you have the kids. You have the Israeli kids there inside of a West Bank territory, surrounded by hostile Palestinian environment, alone. And all of a sudden, the Palestinians would have had 6 weapons, at least 6 weapons. 2 on the soldiers, 2 on the ones who came from vacation, the soldiers, and then 2 sidearms. So they would have had 6 weapons in their hands right now. And yes, it does look like this so-called sheikh was not an ordinary sheikh. It looks like he was trained, which could possibly be part of the, maybe served in the police there, or very likely part of the terrorist organization, because let's be honest, Muslim religious leaders in Palestine in general, mosques are just recruitment centers and a military outpost. And usually right, there's many Palestinians in terms of that are trained in terms of using arms, and from a young age they're getting trained there. Neil, you're saying that they were trying to de-escalate. Who do you think was trying to de-escalate? The Muslim sheikh and his friend, or the IDF soldiers who got killed? You've been writing some good responses, Neil, so I respect that. So I would like to hear what you thought here, if you don't mind sharing. Looks like a planned attack. Okay, so the IDF, yeah, the IDF definitely was trying to escalate. That is 100%. No one can come and say they weren't, because they came with the higher ground with the weapons, and they were not just opening fire into the crowd. They came there to de-escalate and to bring stability over the situation, and possibly bring these soldiers back and these kids back to their homes. The sheikh and his friends came to engage for sure. Yep. I think we have an educated crowd here. We have an educated people in the crowd. You guys are saying good points. It's near Hawara. Everyone knows it's no place to visit. Exactly. Sorry, guys. It's a shithole. This place is a shithole. It's a very bad place. In general, when you look at it in Israel, see. All this area here, called the West Bank, in case you don't know, we'll make a painting of it. All right, you see this? we're really into coloring today. Watch this, guys. So this area here is a very contested area. Now, it's not all Palestine there. It's also important to understand. But anything in this area here is not a school trip area. That's what I wanted to say. This is not where you go for school trips. You want to go to school trip in Israel, you go to Haifa. Even Netanya, you might get stabbed by Israelis there, but maybe not Netanya. But you go to Tel Aviv. This is Gaza. You don't go to school trips in Gaza as well, right? Beersheba, okay. You go to Jerusalem. Lots of beautiful school trips are in Jerusalem. I'll color it in blue for you. That's the areas you want to go for school trips, okay? I'm skipping Netanya again, Maybe Natanyatis will hate me for that. And Beersheba, I'm gonna skip Beersheba. Probably, yeah, I mean, yeah, you can go school trips there. Yeah, it's a nice place. I love both places, but still. So you want to go for a school trip? Go to my town. Go to Elat. Now that's a beautiful school trip. Go to the desert. There's so many places here in the desert. Mitzpe Ramon, right here. Wow, the crater there is just amazing. This place is beautiful. It's just beautiful. The cliff here is something to behold. You come here, there's an observation point here. There's an observation point here. It's like insane. Look at this view, guys. Look at this view. You go there and you enjoy a proper school trip in the desert. You get to see the sunset. You get to see cliffs. You see ibexes. Let's see, for 100%, there's going to be a picture here with an ibex. There's always an ibex there. Here you go. You get to see ibexes. You can go to some swimming pools in the hotel. It's quite expensive, I know. Do the Israel Trail. Lots of beauty. You get to see flowers in the desert. Lots of beautiful. You get to see the secret military bases that are filmed here for some reason. You get to see a lot of beautiful things there. Sometimes there's even water in the desert there. That's where you go when you want to do a school trip. Not into freaking the West Bank. Just sorry, guys. That was just very, 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 very bad decision. No Muslims in Ramat Golan. Yeah, go to Ramat Golan. Go to the Druze villages. Go to a Druze village and no one is going to murder you. I want to say thank you for... Screen is small. Who is this? Thank you, human B. That's very kind of you. Human being, yeah, thank you. Where did I reply to you? That reply super chat has expired. Ah, interesting. Much appreciated for that. And also thank you, Steve Candace, for this. Very, very kind of you. Yeah. Yes, go to Mount Carmel. Very friendly. Lots of Druze. Yeah. You want to go for vacation in Israel? Take kids to a Druze village. Don't take them to a Muslim village. Let's start. Although some Muslim villages in Israel are actually very nice. My brother just had he's the head coach of the football league in a Jewish city. Surprise, surprise, apartheid, right? You got a Druze minority who is the head of the football association in a Jewish city. How can that happen? And he took the kids to play against a Muslim team in a Muslim village. And he said, because in the beginning, some Jewish parents were really, really concerned. And I can understand them completely. And that was during the war also. But he said the hospitality that they've received there, it's something that they've never seen before. The leaders of the village, the school teacher, the football club came, welcomed them. They did a barbecue with them. Every Muslim kid was assigned to make friends with a Jewish kid, and they just spent together in the spirit of sport. They had a great time playing football together. But that's Israeli Muslims. There's a difference between Israeli Muslims in general, not all, but there is a lot, to Palestinian Muslims. Israel is a beautiful country that have beautiful, diverse citizens from all religions and backgrounds. Palestine is a terror state. So we need to be called for what it is. Exactly. Anyway, guys, just wanted to say thank you again. I hope I was able to show you a little bit of what I think happened there. You know, I'm trying to bring here some of my previous life experience as an officer in the Special Forces and an officer in the IDF who've been into these regions and try to better understand with you. So we did this together. We did this together here. We watched it together. We talked about it together. I want to say again, maybe, possibly I'm wrong. Definitely, I was probably wrong about some of the points that I made because we don't have the entire picture. But what we did is we tried to challenge our narrative and challenge our minds and to actually try to see this incident from all perspectives, from our side, from their side, and from both sides. And what we can say right now is that you don't know enough about what happened there. It's all speculations, what I said here. But we do know that there was a terrible loss of precious Israeli lives that are now no longer among us. And the Palestinian sheikh who shot them, unfortunately, he was not killed before. Let's just call it that way. The moment that he grabbed the weapon from the IDF soldiers, that's it. End of story. He should have been taken down. And then this would not happen. If you like the Palestinian guy and think there's a different story there, he was afraid that maybe this Israeli, he thought he was a settler, that he actually might shoot. So he acted out of self-defense. It could be. That could be an argument. But bottom line, everything would have been prevented if they would have not brought down a bunch of dumb shababs to meet Israeli teenagers and start threatening them when they have weapons. It just was a terrible situation that got out of hand. And unfortunately, brave Israeli precious lives were lost. I'll usually pray for all lives who were lost, but in this case, I just don't know how innocent was that Palestinian, if anything, because he wasn't. He obviously shot them. So, but yes, Israel, Neo, I don't know who you're referring to, but 100% Israel provoked this as well. Let's call for what it is. By going with a bunch of teenager kids and their friends and armed guards into a Palestinian territory unannounced by the IDF, it's just an unnecessary provocation that just ended up in the death of two precious lives. Israeli Muslims or ones living in the midst must be under pressure to be good to Jewish people because of the overall situation, as they may fear retribution. This is 100%. They're in a very bad place right now, which they brought on themselves, or their relatives brought on themselves. But yeah, you're right. You're right, Anna. Can the dirt shooter possible have a heli bullet in the pocket, and that is why shoot weapon empty? Can the dirt shooter possible have a heli bullet in pocket? I didn't understand that question. If you can explain that again, Loti Source. What is your original language, Loti? Because you ask very interesting questions, but I don't always understand the English composure of these questions. So I'm wondering, what is your background? Opa, we got a falafel member, the human being 92053. Thank you so much. We are more than happy to welcome you into the falafel family, guys. So we got a new falafel member here. Let's take time to answer some of these questions. So this was a provocation. Very good correcting. Yes. I love the med was born in. Okay, house on the beach. Good to know. Both. But yep, both provoked there. 100%. Netherlands, Dutch. I'm not afraid of normalizing Judea and Samaria. I think Judea and Samaria are beautiful. I think a lot of my very dear friends are settlers there that are just beautiful, beautiful human beings, peaceful but fierce and ready to stand their ground and defend themselves. 100%. 100%. By the way, let's do a test here. Maybe tell me where you guys from. Which countries do we have here in the audience? It'll be interesting to know the diversity of this particular stream. Where are people from? Bullets for heli and tanks are huge bigger. You will not have bullets for tanks and helicopters on an M16, if that's what you're asking, or a pistol. No one is going to carry that. So we got California here, Rana Manauvia. We got. Ooh, slow down, guys. We got Rose from the Netherlands. We got Cindy from the USA. We got the Beast, 863 from the USA. Welcome to the show, guys. But the Hilltop Youth are a problem, New York and Israel. Yes, the Hilltop Youth are a lot of problems in Israel. Thanks, Monster, for the current and above all correct information. Florida, USA. Thank you so much. Human being. What are your thoughts about Inon Yamerik under administration detention? That's probably a topic for a whole video. And I don't know enough about it, so I'm not going to talk about it. My apology. UV from Israel, Shai Gadol from Tel Aviv, Mark Flesh, my gamer friend here from the USA. Finland, we got Mika Ponza from Finland. Wow, we got a lot of people from a lot of the places in the world, guys. We got New York here. 50 Clipper on Rambo. Should have came with a bow and arrow. Bow and arrow with an arrow with explosive warhead arrow. Switzerland and Romania, Tommy Heli. That's an interesting combination. Switzerland and Romania. Very different places in Europe. Watching from the Turk and the Caucasus Islands. Thank you, man. We got Yerushalayim. You arrived late, Carmen. We got New Zealand. Toronto Stan. We got Toronto Stan here. Romania. Love my music. Love your music as well, man. Very blessed by you, man. So thank you so much, Rosa. Blessing to everyone. Ich schaut aus Deutschland. Zoo. We got Deutschland, Germany here. Woot! Wish we would have done better for the World Cup. Unfortunately, we didn't. Toronto Stan just made me laugh as well. Always thankful for all you gave serving in the IDF with best wishes from the UK. Welcome here, UK. And yes, you are loved. All of you are loved back. Thank you, man. Or woman. Shame that this happened. Condolence family, yes. This is Johanna from Kaduna in northern Nigeria watching you live. Welcome, Johanna. It's good to have you here. I hope you guys are doing well in Nigeria. We keep praying for you and hearing about the situation there. I hope it gets better. Thank you for your service as well. Thank you, RFI2GE. Shalom from London. Again, Amsterdamid. Natanya. I was like, uh-oh. Elvanuk. Ah, okay, that's why. Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't want to recommend a school trip to Natanya, and then people are going to call me back. Hey, why did you do that? They got robbed and got stabbed. Right? Nachon, Elvanuk? Like, that's the joke in Israel. In Natanya, יש דקירות בנתניה. It's an Israeli joke. Don't judge me for it, guys. It's an Israeli humor. Who watches soccer anyway? Well, if you call it soccer, we're not going to expect you to watch it, let's be honest. And I don't watch football. Call it soccer. I watch only the World Cup. There's new sanctions on Israel from the Netherlands and Belgium. I don't care about the Netherlands and Belgium, honestly, with all due respect. I used to like it. I've been there. They had great French fries in both places and great mayonnaise and stroopwafel. But to be honest, countries that are engaged in suicidal empathy so deeply, I think they have other worries right now than to worry about criticizing Israel. They should really worry about not losing their identity forever. That's my thought about that. A lot of leftist shit in the Netherlands. Yeah, Netherlands is a lost case, unfortunately, from Islamic migration perspective, at least. They need to wake up, and I think it's too late already. Yeah, Netherlands in the past was an amazing place. Amazing place. All right, guys. Again, I want to thank you all for the update that we had here. Tomorrow I'll be here again live, trying to give you a little bit more update about what's happening in the Middle East in this region. There's a lot of interesting happening also in Lebanon and in Syria and in Iran And this time we focus on Israel because of what happened here. Nigeria is saying here, Johanna is saying, sure, God has been faithful to us in Nigeria. My deepest condolences, families of deceased IDF. Thank you so much. Our prayers are with them as well. And we pray also for you guys. I'm assuming that you're Christians from Nigeria. Maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong, but we know that the situation there is very dire for a lot of Christian communities there. So we pray that they're safe. Angurixa 7435. That's a good thing to hear. Thanks for your analysis. Did not expect to see that. You know what, guys? I love doing this. We're going to do this again because I'm going to do it with you. I'm going to see this time what's my algorithm is hiding for me. 4 people against 10th of terrorists. That's a crazy story. I think that was a story. I don't know if these were civilians or people from the Hamas, which is like the Fauda unit, and they just eliminated tens of terrorists there. Ranfield Review Halo. Halo came out apparently. New Halo game. I haven't played it yet, but I heard it's good. Just engage Patty Pimbleton. That must have been a good fight. Okay, my algorithm today is a little bit, no, here we go. Vintage rustic farmhouse painting. Why do I have vintage rustic farmhouse painting in my algorithm in YouTube? Vintage, what is going on? It's like music. It's like background music. Why do I have this in my algorithm? PvP without stress? What are you talking about? Wow, Amsterdam has fallen? That was like long ago, that video that I made. How was it here? I really like this pastor. I think he's got it all. He got a good spot about it. Okay. We witnessed a massive attack this morning. This is the Israeli guys reporting. Oh, wow. From the ground, they reported that. They're very fast, these guys. I don't follow their channel that much, but I'm hearing very good things about them. Just don't have time to watch. Interesting. Interesting. Yeah. Yep. Just fun algorithm. Trying to figure out what does YouTube think about me. 100K subscribers should come fast. I hope so. Germany, thank you for your work, Manso. Thank you so much as well. So, Hamna being asked, Manso, I asked early in the program, have you heard about the Chinese BDS, GPS, you mean? Okay. GPS system that we cannot see. No, I didn't. Let's see what Chat Jabati have to say about that. If you refer to Chinese alternative GPS that operate independently of the US, that's almost certainly, yes, BDS. Here's what we know. Interesting. The Baidu navigation satellite system, currently China, proposed China, equivalent to the US GPS, European Galileo, Russia, GLONASS, and the Indian Navig. Global coverage since 2020, China Satellite Navigation Office, about 35 satellites in medium, geostationary and inclined geosynchronous orbit, well, medium orbit. Can we see it? Yes, but not with naked eye. The satellites are real and trackable by astronomers and satellite observers, just like GPS satellites. Their navigation signals are radio transmissions, so they're visible to human vision. So they're invisible. Why did China build it? To avoid relying on the US GPS system. That makes sense because if you think about it, guys, America controlled space, controlled the GPS navigation system, controlled the internet. So that gives America a huge uh, intelligence advantage, an operational advantage over all countries in the world. So countries like China will wanna be not dependent on that. Military capabilities, video support, precise guided weapons, military navigation, fleet tracking, timing and synchronized for communication, drones and autonomous systems. Some encrypted military signals are more accurate and resistance to jamming than to civilian service. Civilian use BDU is widely used in smartphones, many modern Android phones, and etc. Hmm. Car, ships, agriculture, construction, surveying, emergency response. Unique feature: BDU has supported short message communication in addition to position to cert, etc. Okay. Accuracy, okay. Global around 3 to 5 meters. That's pretty good accuracy. So the comparison, the system: GPS, United States; global BDS, China; global Galileo, European Union; and GLONASS, Russia; and Navig, India, primary regional. Was that what you were talking about? Where is our ah, I don't know if that's what you're referring to. It's called B dual. That is why we didn't know the missile were being sent and we lost our soldiers. Ah, so you're talking about that the Iranians actually got helped from the Chinese. Got help from the Chinese in order to attack American targets. Could possibly be. I mean, look at it from their side. America's helping Ukraine to kill Russian soldiers. So China and Russia are kind of in this together. And very concerning, very troubling. But anyway, guys, we're gonna stop right now, and I'm gonna see you guys tomorrow. Stay